What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be comparing two handguns that I think are relatively comparable in price, features, and they both have a lot going for them that's good. Now, if I say I like one over the other, a lot of people are going to get on me, say, well, I like this better. That's fine. It's just personal preference. Honestly, a lot of the Micro 9s that are out nowadays are very similar, very close, and regardless if I like this one and rate it a 90 out of 100 and this one's an 85 out of 100, they're really not that different. And they will both work in self-defense. They will both work for defending yourself. They will both work for everyday carry. You could potentially both pocket carry them. They could potentially both work for home defense. It just is what it is. They're both great guns, but I will give you what I like the best at the end. Now, before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. We will show if they are clear. And this is the Ruger Max 9. This is Ruger's offering to the stack and a half Micro 9 sector. They also have the LCP Max, which in my opinion, I like the LCP Max better than the Max 9, simply because it's such a small handgun with great capacity, even though it's in 380. And we're going to be comparing that to the Stoeger STR9 Micro Compact. And let's get into it. First, we'll start with the Ruger. Now, when I first got this handgun, honestly, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster with how much I like it versus don't like it, how I feel on certain days. But I have come to an overall conclusion of how I truly feel majority of the time, right? Overall ergonomics are pretty good. It feels decent in the hand. I just wish there's a little bit more texturing, but the texturing is not terrible at all. The trigger guard is a little small. I wish they would have threw the trigger back a little bit and left some more room for glove finger. Not a big deal though. Let's get into that trigger. This is what a lot of people don't like about it. It reminds me of my, what do you call it? EC9S or LC9S trigger. The way it sort of like flips forward and doesn't leave you a lot of room up here. And then you also have to bring it really far. It almost feels like, I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to explain. But first trigger pull is not bad. Reset is where people have a problem with. Do you see that reset? Let's do first trigger pull. Not bad. A little spongy. But they do make the short stroke trigger for it, which I do have on my EC9S, and it really has cleared up that trigger. So that is an awesome option out there that tends to be reliable for people with the Max 9. That's reset. Now, when you're in a self-defense encounter, are you going to be riding the reset? No, you're not. But could that choke you up while trying to shoot fast? I mean, it could. Probably not. But just let let that trigger all the way out, and it's not that big of a deal. So you can update it, upgrade it, but that is another cost. What people are telling me is this averages about $300 at online. It's usually about $350 in person at local gun stores, right? Does come optics ready. Awesome sights, a blacked out rear with a black bracket. It's very similar to a clockish bracket, but that front sight's where it's at. Absolute awesome sights on this handgun. That is a tritium fiber optic sight, so that means it still glows in the dark, even though it is fiber optic during the day. Awesome sight picture, and they even have that little white outline to help your eyes find that dot a little easier. Now, overall, this one does have a manual safety on it, which it was just cheaper that way. The slide does have a little rattle, which I mentioned in my videos, but what people told me is the reason for that slide rattle is it's less wear and tear on the handgun. I can sort of understand that, but I have a lot of handguns with a lot of use and a lot of time and a lot of rounds through them, and it's never affected me not having a loose slide. So not 100% sure about that. When it's in a holster, though, you don't hear it, nothing like that. Doesn't affect accuracy for me. All the accuracy comes from your hold, your grip, and definitely learning that trigger. Now, like I said, the trigger is what a lot of people don't like about it, but everything else I really like except for the finish. The finish is typical Ruger finish. It's really weird seeing that optic plate. It looks like it's the same material, but it looks like it's a different color. I don't know what's going on with that. I've asked other people about it. Some people said theirs was like that. Other people said no, it was the same color all around. Not sure what's up with that optic plate looking like that. Sort of weird. But other than that, I actually like the Ruger Max 9, and for $300, $350, whatever the case may be, it's a good, solid option. And if you want something American-made, which for a lot of people nowadays is big, this is definitely an awesome option for you. Even though the Shield Plus you can find for about $350, $375. A lot of people just like Ruger handguns, have good experiences with them, that whole sort of thing. I think the Ruger Max 9 is a solid option. And obviously you do have the larger mags. This is with the 10-round mag. We'll compare them in both of their smallest configuration, 11 plus 1 on the right, 10 plus 1 on the left. So you're getting that extra round with the Stoeger. Hold on, let me line them up a little better. Extra round while being a little bit shorter. And that's because the Stoeger has the overall length of a Hellcat, which is the smallest Micro 9 with capacity in 9mm. Here's slide to slide, and here's barrel to barrel. Pretty interesting. Very similar in size. Now the Stoeger has a lot going for it, in my opinion, that the Ruger doesn't have. Not everything. Oh yeah, and also no rail on the Ruger. The Stoeger came with a rail. Now the number one thing I like about this handgun is the texturing and ergonomics. It's just on point. It does fit my hand, maybe not your hand, but my hand better than that Ruger. I just feel more confidence holding this handgun. It just feels like it fits my hand much better. Not sure why that is. It just does, and that might be the case for you. It might not be. But they did a really nice job with the stipple job. They definitely upgraded from the other Stoegers. My larger Stoegers have a good stippling job, but it's not as good as this. They perfected their texturing. Now, this is relatively snag-free in every dimension. That mag catch doesn't stick out too far past this, which I actually really like. So it's going to be hard to accidentally bump that, right? Comes with a rail. Not 100% sure what light options this will take, as I'm not putting a light on it. And this model right here is the base model for $350. So these two are going to have the same price, and it's not optics ready, and it doesn't come with night sights. It comes with an adjustable rear sight, which is weird for such a small pistol. But it's a textured rear sight, if you can see that. And then that white dot front sight. No tritium, no glowing in the dark. They do make an updated version for $450, and it comes with tritium sights and an optics ready model. I have the base model for $350, and I'm good with it because it's a great pistol. But the Ruger does offer more in terms of better sights and optics ready right out of the box for a cheaper price. Now the finish is a million times better than the Ruger. They really did a good job on the micro compact, as my larger Stoegers definitely don't have as good of a finish. This finish is just on point. I absolutely like it. This takes down like a Glock, whereas the Ruger, you have to remove this, push out the pin, and that's how you take it down. So this is a much quicker, much easier, much faster approach to a takedown, as it's Glock oriented, right? Awesome memory pads, which they did not throw on the Ruger. I'm not sure why. They have a big place right here that you could have put them. Big spot. Now, I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but they didn't, and I think that's a little bit of a miss by the Ruger Max 9, but not a big deal, to be honest. Now, let's get into this trigger, because I think the trigger on this handgun is absolutely awesome, right? It's better than the Hellcat trigger, right? First bolt. Much more crisp and clean in every way than that Ruger. Like I said, the Ruger's a lighter trigger, but this is more crisp, more clean. It just feels more natural for some reason. I feel like the Max 9 still has a bit of a reset similar to the LC9S, EC9S series. See that? It's just like my FN 503, which I don't mind the trigger on the 503 at all, so I'm definitely not complaining. I believe the Ruger does use a metal trigger, which is actually pretty nice, where this uses a polymer trigger, but not a big deal. Awesome serrations on this. Two awesome handguns. Like I said, I have nothing against either of them. They both have negatives. They both have positives. Two awesome handguns that you can conceal carry, possibly pocket carry. Just two great options. Currently, I have more rounds to the Ruger than the Stoeger, but they've both been reliable. So hopefully I'll hit 1,000 rounds with both of these soon. We'll see how they end up looking, functioning, any malfunctions, stuff like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.